stuck here. The cops won't bother me.
I think like the lack of registration, for example, and the ability to just get on the bike and ride, and getting a really great gas mileage, I think makes the 50 very convenient. And it makes it very convenient for most people. And I think I like that ability, like the ability of just like riding it. It's so easy to ride, and it's so unassuming because it's so tiny. And when you are in a city and you do some work in the city, like just popping in very easily, parking on the sidewalk and nobody getting angry about a cute scooter, for me that's a pretty big benefit. If I was to ride a motorcycle, first, going through these neighborhoods at any speed, the way a motorcycle sounds, it sounds much more aggressive. That chick's butt. Anyway, that also have the ability to carry storage on the seat of the scooter. It makes it so much easier to just carry like a lunch bag or whatever you need instead of carrying a book bag. And on a motorcycle, you'd have to get side cases in order to carry stuff. And oftentimes side cases will kind of ruin the look of the bike, and people kind of forget, you know, like people claim, oh yeah, the V-Strom 650 weighs 500 pounds, but by the time you add racks and you add luggage and you add stuff in the bags and all of this, the bike weighs like 700 pounds, or you know, not as much, but you know what I'm saying, weighs like 180 pounds, 187 pounds, and I'm like 165 or something. So it's kind of weird, but it's nice having a very lightweight scooter. And when you have a very small diameter wheels like this, it's very easy to kind of like throw around. All right, come on, lady. And just go anywhere. I mean, that's kind of like the beauty of scooters. It's like you can just go anywhere you want. You know, they're just so cute and unassuming that people generally will tolerate them, especially even going slow like I am. I stick to the right. Nobody really cares. But on a motorcycle going slow, I almost feel it's more dangerous. But I do feel motorcycles are safer because they have better technology. The wheels are bigger, better brakes, more power to get out of trouble. But it's also one of those things that with more power comes more responsibility, kind of like Spider-Man. So oftentimes you could get in trouble with the power and the speed, but on a scooter it's almost like just slightly above a bicycle. And I am thinking about selling my motorcycle in Portugal, in Europe, and just getting a scooter. That's right, I'm like selling my Africa Twin and getting a scooter. And what I like about scooters is that it is transportation. And for a guy like me that got into motorcycles for the fact of just being transportation, I love the fact that it's just the very basic form of getting around. It's like the cheapest. It's like what a poor person would use to get around. I think I like that a lot, instead of like getting bikes that are just getting so advanced, full of technology, and usually stuff that's going to break. Having a scooter that's just like, it's a motor, it's an engine, it's a frame, it's a very small engine, it's got things like fuel injection. Look at this asshole. What the fuck are you doing? I like the fact that it's something so simple anybody could ride. And I also like the idea of riding something and riding it a lot. And I think that's the reason I don't like the BMW guys. It's like very few of them actually ride. You know, like There was a guy on my YouTube channel. He was like complaining about me not knowing anything about BMWs, and he claimed that I didn't have the BMW, but I've owned 2 BMWs, and I put way more miles in BMWs than he has. It's kind of funny, man. Like, if motorcyclists had scooters, they would enjoy it, and they like complain about these things not being fun, but they are super fun. I love riding them. It's like riding a slow bike fast is much more fun than riding a fast bike slow. Oh, look at that electric car. That's an electric car, man. i3 in the house. Those are actually relatively inexpensive. Used, you can get them for like $15,000. Look at that. Man, I'm really low on gas. That's the thing, man. You do a couple of miles on this thing, even though it's very fuel efficient, it just drains the tank. But it is an easy bike to push around. Oh man, you don't want to hit stuff. And he's at some big bumps. All right, we're gonna go through here. Is there anybody? Oh, there's a guy there. I was gonna pee. Yeah, you know, I think if a lot of people were to ride these 50s, I think they would enjoy these quite a bit. And this is probably my favorite 50 so far. So the story with this is I bought it, I think I bought it for like $800. I got a good deal. Normally you're not going to get a bike like this for $800. It's generally a bike that's a little bit more expensive. And I did want one of these a long time ago because I realized that the Yamaha C3 like this is a fuel injected 50, and at the time it was very rare to find a fuel injected 50. So this is one of the very few fuel injected 50s you can get, and I like it. So it gets like 115 miles to the gallon as opposed to like I think 80 or 90 a regular carbed version. And the one thing about me is that I've had quite a few carbureted bikes, and I do not want any other carbureted bikes. I do have an Africa Twin that's carbs, but if I can get fuel injection, I'd rather have that over carbs any day. And I really like this bike. It's a very easy bike to ride. Only downside is got the very small diameter wheels, so the wheels make it a lot harder because hitting potholes in the DC area, it sends you flying. And it helps to have larger wheels if you're going to commute, but it's got a very easy exhaust. It's made by Yamaha. Another downside is that the floorboard is not straight because of the gas tank is right there. It helps to have the flat board, even though this looks sportier, but having a flat floor makes it easy to load stuff onto the floor. If you're going to go grocery shopping, or you want to carry like a pole or something. In my case, I carry like a tripod and I like to put it there. And on this one, you can't. So that's a pretty big downside. But the fit and finish of this is actually pretty high. And it also has got a nice kickstart. And of course the center stand. And let me show you what I got in the trunk here. So I did buy it used, and it has some scuffs here and there, and it's got a pretty decent amount of room here to carry stuff. And this is where the battery is, so it's a very easy access to the battery. The front has got a pretty wimpy horn. It doesn't have a windscreen or anything, and it is kind of good to have a windscreen, and I believe I do have one somewhere, but it's probably a lot easier to live without. In the summer, you're gonna hate a windscreen, and this thing just starts right up. So look at that. Fuel injection is perfect. It also only has a 1 point something gallon gas tank, So that means that you're going to be filling this thing up all the time if you have a long commute. This thing used to belong